The first thing I noticed about Joan was her silence. It wasn't the kind of silence that comes from peace. It was the kind that carries the weight of things left unsaid. Her eyes were swollen, and her voice, when it finally came, sounded like something that had traveled a long road through pain. "Amara," she said softly, "I made a decision that still burns my soul every single day." I said nothing. I've learned that sometimes words can't walk into certain rooms. You just sit and let the pain open its own door. She took a deep breath and whispered, "I sold my daughter." Hello, beloved. Welcome again to Unbroken Courage. Tonight's story isn't easy to tell. It's about a mother's heartbreak, a desperate choice, and the kind of regret that becomes a teacher for life. Stay with me till the end, beloved. Because what Joan learned will remind you that every decision we make carries a seed, and those seeds, whether sweet or bitter, grow into our destiny. Joan was a widow, 35, weary and thin from years of struggle. Her husband, a truck driver, had died in an accident that left nothing behind but debt and 6 hungry mouths. 6 children, she said with a bitter smile. I used to call them my rainbow. Now I call them my mistake. Her eyes filled with tears when she said that, and she quickly added, I don't mean I regret having them, Amara. I regret having them without wisdom, without plan, without guidance. Love isn't enough when hunger becomes the only language in the house. She told me how the days turned into battles and nights into prayers. She'd wake up before dawn to fetch water, wash clothes, and sell vegetables. But no matter how hard she worked, there was never enough. I watched my children shrink, she said. Their eyes lost light, their voices lost laughter. I used to boil water at night just to make them think food was coming. Her lips trembled. Then one day, my eldest, my daughter, Peace, fainted in school from hunger. When I saw her lying there, I thought she was dead. I told myself I would never let them starve again, but I didn't know the devil was listening. A woman appeared in the market a few days later, well-dressed, soft-spoken, carrying a calm that felt like comfort. She said she worked with an organization that helps struggling families, Joan said. She told me she could take one of my children to the city, give her food, schooling, a better life. Joan paused, her hands shaking. Amara, I didn't know she was lying. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. She looked away. She said she would pay me, not as a sale, but as a support gift. She called it help, but help doesn't come with a receipt, Amara. I should have known. The day she handed over her daughter, the sky was gray and silent. She wore a yellow dress, Joan said, her favorite one. She smiled at me, holding the small bag I packed for her. She said, Mama, when I come back, I'll buy you a big house. Joan covered her face with her hands. I didn't even say goodbye properly. I just nodded, pretending to be strong. When the car drove away, I felt something break inside me. Not like glass, but like roots being pulled from the ground. She said she waited until the car disappeared down the dirt road, then fell to her knees and screamed her daughter's name until her voice bled. I told myself it was only for a while, she whispered, but I knew. Deep down, I knew. The money lasted 3 months. 3 months of food, rent, and medicine, and then it was gone. But the silence that replaced it stayed forever. The woman stopped answering calls. The address she gave didn't exist. Joan went to the city to look for her. She begged at police stations, churches, even on the streets. No one could help. I realized, she said, I hadn't sold her to a family. I had sold her to fate. She said her younger children began to fear her. They'd whisper when she walked into the room. Her eldest son stopped calling her Mama. He started saying, Joan, like she was a stranger. I couldn't look in the mirror, she said. I stopped going to church because I felt like God would strike me if I prayed. I stopped singing. I stopped smiling. For months, she wandered in guilt. But pain can either destroy or teach. And one night, after crying herself to sleep on the kitchen floor, she woke up with a strange calm. I heard my mother's voice in my dream, she said. She told me, you made a mistake, but your story is not over. Use your pain to guide others before it guides you to death. That dream became the first light in her darkness. Joan went to a small church near her village and asked to volunteer. She began helping the women there, young mothers who came crying because they couldn't feed their children, just like she once did. She started teaching them how to save little, how to plan, how to talk instead of making rash choices. I told them the truth, she said. I told them mentorship matters. I told them desperation is not wisdom. I told them never to make a permanent decision to solve a temporary problem. Her voice softened. Every time I help a woman avoid my mistake, it's like I'm holding my daughter's hand again, just for a moment. Still, the pain never left completely. Every evening, she cooks one extra portion of food and sets it aside. She was 12, she said. She liked beans with plantain. So every Friday, I cook it and place a plate by the window. I tell the others it's tradition. But it's not. It's hope. Sometimes the children in her neighborhood ask her, "Auntie Joan, who is the food for?" She smiles and says, "For someone who might come home one day." When she finished her story, she looked at me, her eyes red but steady. "Amara," she said, "I learned that decisions are not just choices, they are gates. Once you walk through, you can't go back." I nodded. "But you can still build something good on the other side." She smiled faintly. "That's what I'm trying to do. Every woman I help is one less child sold, one less story like mine. Maybe that's how God is letting me rewrite it, through them." I reached across the table and held her hands. "You can't change what happened, Joan, but you can change what happens next." She took a deep breath. "Then that's what I'll do. But still, every morning I look down that road, Amara. Maybe one day I'll see her coming home." She paused, then whispered something I will never forget. "The hardest part of being a mother is realizing that love doesn't always make you wise." Beloved, that's The Mother Who Sold Her Child, Part 1. The story of Joan, a woman who made a desperate decision and learned through pain that wisdom without guidance is dangerous. If this story touched your heart, drop a comment below and tell me what you learned from Joan's story. And share it with someone who might be struggling. Because no matter how dark the road, hope still looks toward the horizon. I'm Amara, and this is Unbroken Courage, where every story reminds you that even broken mothers can become healers when grace finds them again. Part 2 will be out soon.